How's it going, everyone? My name is Mulder and welcome to GameChron, your #1 stop for preview and tips videos on your favorite video games. Today we're going to be talking about Pathfinder Kingmaker in our preview and thoughts video. Now, Pathfinder Kingmaker game that we're going to be covering in the next series of tips and tricks videos, it's actually going to be based on the console version that's coming out next week. The PC version came out a few years ago, so we're going to be seeing if there's a lot of changes between that version and the console version. But for those of you who don't know, Pathfinder Kingmaker is based off the popular Pathfinder series by D&D, Dungeons & Dragons. In Pathfinder Kingmaker, you'll be able to create your own character from scratch. Now, I will have to say, from what I'm seeing so far, for those out there who've actually played D&D before or Pathfinder, they're going to have a little easier time creating their own character and running their own group a lot better than other players who've never played before. You'll have a stats chart that you'll be able to fill out the moment you build your own character, along with having to micromanage your other companions in terms of their abilities, items, and even the gear that they're wearing once you unlock them. The biggest thing too about Pathfinder's combat system, at least in the PC version, is that every single time that you're running an attack, dice are constantly being rolled. Depending on the roll that you get, the higher the roll, the more damage you do, or depending upon, your casting effectiveness, or just overall anything you're trying to do in the game. The lower you roll, the less likely chance your attack or spell or whatever is going to succeed. And worse, if you hit a 1 on the dice, more likely your attack or spell or whatever is going to backfire right back in your face and your party. The biggest thing about this game too is that there's going to be constant attacks and different types of dungeons you'll be going through that are constantly evolving. Depending on how you customize your character and also how the campaign that you're currently building is going to decide on what type of enemies you're going to be fighting. Luckily though, the game is designed to where you can then leave the main campaign, do some side quests, level up your characters to where then they can become more powerful, and then go back and tackle those difficult campaign missions. Speaking of companions, you're going to be unlocking a bunch of these characters as the game continues. Each character has their own unique skills, equipment, dialogue trees, and even some side missions to where you unlock more of their story if you wish to do that. What I've researched so far is that all of this type of stuff is optional if you want to dive into your side character's story. By no means are they forcing you to have to do all these different side missions with these characters unless it's part of the main story, which really gives you the freedom to decide what characters you want to focus on and what characters you just want to kick to the side and be like, you go over there. Speaking of the main campaign, you're trying to rebuild a region from scratch after it's been ravaged through war and overall just bad luck. The Kingmaker part of this game is that it allows you to build a kingdom up to where you can decide what buildings, what type of communities you want to build in there, depending upon which way your story is heading, which then leads to what type of objectives you want to achieve during your main campaign, but more importantly, what choices you make that can affect your overall story. One example is that throughout your fight, you could capture a group of bandits that tried to attack you earlier, but then say they'd like to join your campaign or at least join your group to where they can help you out, but if you decline them, they can actually come back and hurt you later with a larger group. But if you accept them into your community, they can actually help defend your kingdom later. It's choices like these throughout the campaign that can really change out the way your game is going to lay out compared to others. The one downside though to this game, from what I've also discovered, is that it doesn't do a lot of hand-holding, nor does it actually help explain a lot of things. Now, I myself have played some D&D and Pathfinder games before with my friends, so for me, I'm probably going to get the gist of this game a lot better than others, which then of course I will share with you in our tips and tricks video series on this game next week, once the console version comes out. But for those out there who've never played D&D before or Pathfinder, definitely stick around for the videos I'll be making to help decide if you'd like to play this game or not. I will have to say, honestly, I'm looking forward to this game because I enjoy top-down RPGs like this, but depending upon how this game is structured, how well it's built, if they've continued a lot of the fixes that they've made to the PC to then the console version, we're going to have to wait and see. I'm definitely going to be structuring my videos around the idea of building a well-balanced group of characters, such as warrior, mages, people with good intellect to where the conversations or say negotiations with other characters can go well, things that I've encountered before playing with my friends in D&D and Pathfinder to see if I can implement that into the game. Either way, you'll be around to see how these go in our tips and tricks video series. I'm really looking forward to building my own kingdom from scratch and designing it the way that I want, while also still continuing to go on throughout the story and making choices along the way that can either affect the good or the bad decisions I've made so far. We'll be finding out together very soon when the game launches next week. Until then, definitely stick around and check out our other tips and tricks videos that we've done recently, such as Rocket Arena, Destroy All Humans, Maneater, The Witcher 3, and so much more. We'll also be continuing doing tips and tricks series on the newest games coming out, such as Marvel's Avengers, Cyberpunk 2077, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Star Wars Squadrons, and so much more. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for a lot more. I'm Mulder, and I'll see you very soon in the GameChron.